So today I'm going to be talking to you about the healing power of making plans. Coming up next. Hi everybody, my name is Dee Burks and this is Retirement Rescue. And one of the things that I want to talk to you about today is the healing power of making plans. Now I just made some plans for summer and I'm going to talk to you about those here in a sec. But one of the things that I really understood as soon as I made those plans was how fabulous it felt. And there is something about making new plans that just gives you that sense of joy, that sense of anticipation. You're going to get to go somewhere and see something and do something out of the ordinary. And I felt the same way last year when I took that trip up the Blue Ridge Mountains with my daughter. It was such a fun trip. And since I've been back, I've really thought about, what made that such a fun trip? Well, of course, one of the things that made it a fun trip is that we've all been so isolated the past couple of years. So it was great just to get out, not only to reconnect with family, and that was a fabulous time. I got to see my grandsons and my son and his wife. It was all fabulous. But also to reconnect with nature, to do some things I hadn't done before or hadn't done in a while. I'd never been gym money. That was amazingly fun. I hadn't played poker in forever. That was amazingly fun at the casino. We did so many wonderful things that are basically just ordinary things, but when you haven't done them for a while, you really feel isolated and you feel like your life just honestly isn't any fun. And that brings up another point. One of the things that making plans does is it puts you in touch with those positive emotions. And y'all know, none of us have enough positive emotions these days. I mean, if you sit in your house and all you do is watch the news or listen to everybody tell you how everything's coming to an end, everything feels so negative. But it's really not. That is just perception. And making plans, even if it's something that a few years ago we would have all just considered normal, like making your normal hair appointments, like going shopping for a new shirt, like going and seeing the grandkids just on a whim. These are things a lot of us haven't done for the past 2 years. And so it puts you in touch with those positive emotions, just getting out there and doing the things that you used to do that made life normal and joyful. And that is really wonderful for your well-being. Now, of course, one of the biggest reasons that making plans is so great is it expands who you are. Human beings are not meant to be isolated. And I know you may believe that that you come from mountain man stock and you're great at isolation. But none of us really are. Some are better than others. But for a lot of people, the isolation has really been damaging to their mental well-being. So making those plans and expanding who you are, we have lived this artificially contracted life for more than 2 years now. And so get out there, challenge yourself to do something fun. And one of the things that I just did this last week was I booked a trip to Vegas. I haven't been to Vegas since 2018, before all of this even started. And actually that year I went to Vegas 3 times. But I used to go regularly, once or twice a year. I love to play poker. I almost always make enough money to cover my trip. And it's just a fun time. I normally go by myself. I love going to Vegas by myself. I enjoy that. But it is just a fun time. So this week I booked a trip for June to Vegas, and I'm going to go and play the World Series of Poker. I've played it several times before. Never really done much with it. I've made the money a time or two, but nothing big. This year I'm really going to go and play and enjoy it. Not so much just to go and make money, even though, yes, there's that, but also just to be present, just to soak it in. Having not gone for the last 2.5 years, man, I've missed it. That's something I really enjoy doing regularly. I want to get back on that regular schedule. I also booked a hair appointment to cut and color. Now, y'all may think that, well, that's not that big a deal. But how many of you have kind of let that go during isolation? There's no reason to get a cut and color every 6 or 8 weeks when you're not going anywhere. Well, I've fallen into that too, and I'm sure y'all have noticed on camera how my hair has gotten significantly longer, and it's a little bit different shade than it used to be. So I'm going to go do that, get back on a regular schedule. There is something about that regular schedule that's comforting, and going places that you've always enjoyed is comforting and feels good. So that's one of the things I did this week. Now you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do this week? And these experiences really expand your life. They remind you of yourself, what it was to be yourself. I haven't really felt like myself for 2 years. And I'm sure some of you have felt the same way because you're just not living that same life. And so I'm really anxious to get back to myself, to get back to enjoying those things that made life so much fun. And the last thing I really want to talk to you about as far as the healing power of making plans, those plans allow you to reconnect with everything, with your old life, with your friends, with your family, with yourself. We have gotten so disconnected, and that disconnect has really damaged a lot of people, especially those who are retired and isolated a lot. While that might have been necessary at the time, it also really restricts your life. And now's the time to start opening that life back up. Start making some plans. Start feeling like you're getting back to, quote, normal, whatever that was for you. For me, it meant going places, experiencing things, living in the present, and really extricating every bit of joy I can out of life. And I'm going to start doing it. I've already booked my first trip. It's going to be a fun year. You get out there, you book that trip, you see those grands, and you have a great year too. And I'll see you next time.